All right, I think we're live. Let me know if anything's off. I had a little bit of a microphone issue, but I think we're good now. And I have it pulled up on my iPad here too, so I can see for myself. Let's see if it sounds all right. Come on. All right. Yeah, all right, we're good. Okay, good deal. Anyways, I see Savvy Money's in here, Happy Mohammed, Hurricane, Black and Sank, Mr. Flores is here, Ito's here, OP, Caesar's here, Kevin's here. Good morning to all of you guys. It looks like today we're going to have a little bit of a market pullback, to be expected really with, the way the markets have been so green this week. I think this is actually probably pretty healthy movement. So I'm not too concerned about it. I want to start off with, and I know there was a Lordstown Motors short report that came out, so we'll get to that. But I want to start out with just what futures are doing right now. And this is kind of the movement we saw all of last week with futures, is the Dow futures, the Dow in general was up, while, the NASDAQ was down big. And as we see, the NASDAQ's down 200 points pre-market. Futures, which amounts to quite a bit, 1.5%. The Dow's in comparison is barely green, but at the same time it is green. And then the S&P is negative because the NASDAQ's so negative right now. So very, very similar movement to what we saw last week when we were having pain, but don't let that freak you out. This is completely normal, healthy movement for the markets, especially after the crazy day the NASDAQ had yesterday. Don't let this scare you at all. I did see the Lordstown Motors short report, and I'll switch to the sticks here, and we can bring up Ride, and then I actually have not read the short report. I just kind of read the headliner of it, and it's down 17% pre-market, down below $15. And this is what I've thought about getting back into. And so this might be a perfect buying opportunity for me. I see Jay Felix, Pardeep, Mohammed's here, Robert Dominguez, Aaron A. Thomas. Awesome. Welcome, guys. Good morning to all of you. Aaron asks, are we crashing today? I don't think this is a crash, no. This is healthy movement, again, in my opinion. After you think about the days of green we've had, like yesterday was an insane green day. It kind of starts with, and I'll show you this, it kind of starts with what Bitcoin's doing right now. We've kind of had Bitcoin sell off this morning, which obviously isn't helping CleanSpark, Marathon, Riot Blockchain, SOS, etc., but it's also not helping Tesla, MicroStrategy, etc., and that's also hurting the NASDAQ. And if the NASDAQ's doing poorly, obviously that's a lot of the stocks you guys own. So, keep an eye on Bitcoin, but we're still at $55,500 per Bitcoin, which is crazy. That's very, very high compared to where we were just 2 weeks ago. All right, anyways. Yes, we have this Lordstown Motors short report here, and I haven't read this yet because I woke up and I just saw this, but we see fake orders, undisclosed production hurdles, and a prototype inferno. This prototype inferno, that is public knowledge already. So that part doesn't concern me. That's kind of the point of test vehicles. That's the point of prototypes, is you take them out on the roads, see if they hold up, see if there's any issues. Things like this happen, right? How many Teslas have caught on fire? A lot. We have a headline, fake orders. This one is a favorite by any short report firm, and I'm not going to discredit Hindenburg Research because they're one of the few that have actually had a credible short report on Nikola Motors. But, a lot of short reports will use this terminology, fake orders. But what they never do is prove why they're fake orders. I think that's more of a scare tactic. Undisclosed production hurdles, I'm going to have to look into this a little bit more. Again, it doesn't really, we'll see what exactly it is, and this is obviously a very long report. I'm not going to read it all pre-market here unless you guys want me to, but Not planning on doing so right now. So again, I have not read the short report, but just by the headline alone, I'm not too concerned, and it looks like it's just going to provide us a pretty good buying opportunity. So, anyways, obviously the prototype that caught on fire. This is public knowledge right here. All this stuff is public knowledge. Not concerned whatsoever. You can find these images online outside of the short report. It's not like Hindenburg Research went out of their way to go to the police department, find these images. These are out there, right? And this sort of thing can happen, especially with an electric vehicle prototype where it catches on fire, something goes wrong. But again, that's the point of the prototype. That's part of the testing, right? And this was not a full endurance vehicle. This was, again, a prototype with not every feature installed. They were likely testing out the battery and things like that. I am curious about what they say regarding the, what they call it. I'll scroll way back to the top. The undisclosed production hurdles. I am curious about that. Obviously, we knew they had to retool, rekit the entire facility they acquired from GM. And obviously they were producing internal combustion engine vehicles there, so they have to retool, rekit it to create electric vehicles. I want to see. I wonder if I do like a Control F. If we do production hurdles. No, it's not. Let me do that. Okay, let's just. I guess we can just scroll through these. Despite claims that Lordstown will be producing vehicles by September, a former employee explained how the company is experiencing delays in making drastic design modifications, putting them in an estimated 3 to 4 years away from production. Obviously, if that was true, that would be not good news for Lordstown. But again, I mean, the management team has reiterated that they're still on pace to have production start this year. And until they say different, I don't think we have any reason to fear that. I wonder if it talks more about the former employee anywhere. Let's see. Despite claims that battery packs would be manufactured in-house, we were told that the equipment is months away from arriving, let alone being put into a production environment. In the meantime, we were told that battery packs are being put together by hand. I mean, production is not supposed to start for months, so I'm not really too concerned about this either, as long as the battery manufacturing is up to par by the time they start mass producing. But they haven't started mass producing, so I'm not too concerned about that claim. Let's see what this says. We think bodes poorly when executives unload stock at a company with no actual product that claims to be on the cusp of map. That is something to keep an eye on with all SPACs, right, and EV companies, is when the executive team is selling their shares, you definitely want to pay attention to it. Sometimes it can be for tax reasons. Other times they're pre-planned selling to prevent insider trading, right? They schedule these sales and buys ahead of time. I'd have to look at the code on the transactions in the SEC form for the statement of changes in beneficial ownership to really see, but it's something you want to keep an eye on. Okay, as with several companies in the space, Lordstown has never produced a saleable product and has no revenue. It has been beset by years of production delays. I don't know. This statement here, as several companies in the space, obviously, I mean, the EV industry, the EV space, right? It's a brand new space. So having multiple companies that haven't produced a product yet is probably normal for this type of space. But I will have you know, Lordstown has produced, alpha vehicles, and now they're in the beta vehicle production schedule right now. So they're producing vehicles right now. They're just not selling them yet, right? They're still in that the testing phase of these vehicles. Anyways, I don't know. I'll look into this later. I don't want to bore all you guys with this short report. But bottom line is, I need to read it more. The fake orders headline doesn't worry me one bit. Because generally when short reports say something like that, they never prove it. They just make a claim. And then the prototype Inferno, that is common knowledge. That is public information. Not worried about that. The only thing I need to look more into is the undisclosed production hurdles. And I will do that later today if I get some time. So this is the only one I might be a little bit concerned about here, the middle claim here, but I'll look into it later on today. Let's see what futures are doing. Yeah, NASDAQ futures are down over 200 points now. Dow's up 50 points. So, we're back to that sort of movement that we had last week, but again, don't let that scare you. After such a green day we've had, or green few days we've had this trading week, I'm not concerned whatsoever. This is probably healthy movement, especially after the NASDAQ was up so big yesterday. But let's go ahead and switch back to the sticks here. That's not what I want. Here we go. Okay, so Bitcoin has continued to sell off a little bit, which obviously isn't helping out the NASDAQ whatsoever. And along with Lordstown Motors ride being down pre-market, we have Workhorse down 6.5%, because if you guys didn't know, Workhorse actually owns a 10% stake in Lordstown Motors. So if that 10% stake becomes less valuable, all of a sudden, Workhorse's market cap becomes less valuable because they have less assets, or however whatever terminology they use for their stake in Lordstown Motors. Zach Matthews donated. Thank you for the donation. You don't need to do that, but thank you, seriously. And he says, with new batteries, EV space will only get bigger. I 100% agree. Battery technology is going to continue to get more efficient. It's going to bring the cost down. And ultimately, the batteries are going to get more and more better, I guess, for lack of a better term, over time, where they last longer, they don't decay as fast, that sort of thing. Let's see. Let's look at the chat here really quick. Christian says, am I considering to get back into ride after the release of the short report? Yeah, at the beginning of the stream, when a lot of you guys weren't here yet, I actually did say I'm looking to get back into Lordstown Motors. I'll probably wait till the dust settles with this, and I obviously need to look into the short report and make sure there aren't any legitimate claims that would deter me away. But definitely, Lordstown Motors is one that I've been wanting to get back into, and now might be my chance. So after I do some more research and that sort of thing, definitely. It's something I'm looking to get back into. Let's see, VC says, do you think SG Blocks will be building the 144 charge stations that Blink just got a grant for? VC, it's hard to know. SGBX, I don't believe, is contracted to build every single one of the stations. I think it's just a partnership where a select few, a handful. I really don't know much about that partnership. I don't think anybody does outside the two companies. They haven't been very public with it, with all that information, so we really just don't know. It's a good question, though, because if they are contracted and they are going to be building those 144 charging stations for Blink charging, then it gets really, really interesting, because that's a lot of revenue that I had not been pricing into the share price, and let alone this thing is already so undervalued in the 5. Okay. Zach Matthew says, LOL, I desperately hope Bitcoin quits falling. I kind of want to cry. I've lost about $4. Oh, man. GameStop, but 5% pre-market. Look at that. Oh, man. It's going to be one of those days, right? But yeah, Bitcoin definitely, we've sold off a bit from our all-time highs. We broke 58,000, so it's a little bit expected that we'd see a pullback after we break through another one of those, price levels. Thresholds, I guess you could say, but we hit a new all-time high on Bitcoin. So a little bit of profit taking, sell off, definitely a healthy movement. I'm not concerned whatsoever with it. Let's see. Oh yeah, somebody's asking me what. I get this question a lot. This stock charting software is just the Webull desktop platform. I don't trade with Webull. I don't invest with Webull. I use Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, and M1 Finance. But for charts and stuff, this is really, really handy for live streams and stuff. So yeah, this is what I use for the live streams here that I've been doing every morning. Let's see. Danny K says, man, your vision about CleanSpark is impeccable and mind-blowing. Keep up with the great work, and a huge shout-out to you. Don't say you don't deserve it. You deserve every applause. Well, thank you, Danny. That means a lot to me. And I'll have a CleanSpark video out later this afternoon, so I'm sure you'll be happy to hear that. I'll be comparing STPK to CleanSpark. And I did a lot of research last night. I was up later than I should have been. But STPK, very similar oh my gosh, can't talk. Very similar company to CleanSpark, but I'll be doing a comparison because STPK has been a very, very hot SPAC. So I'll compare STPK to CleanSpark, which one I think's better, if any are better, should you own both, that sort of thing. So keep an eye out for that. Multi-Guitar says, why do you use multiple investment accounts? Part of it has to do with me protecting my net worth, because my Robinhood portfolio, as you guys know, is public information, right? You guys know I have, the last video I made, I had over $200,000 portfolio in my Robinhood account. Now that's sunk quite a bit because of the market dip, so I'm probably at 150, 160, somewhere in there. That's public information, but a lot of these other accounts help me hide my total net worth a little bit. And on top of that, the M1 Finance portfolio, I just really wanted to start a dividend portfolio because I want to have multiple revenue streams, multiple places that I can pull cash from by the time I retire. And if I build a dividend account up high enough, I can be raking in monthly dividends that, pay all my bills for me. So it would just be a really, really nice life to have a dividend portfolio that big. I haven't been depositing that much money into it, basically $500 a month for some time now. And then my TD Ameritrade account is my Roth IRA. I started a retirement account because I think both a retirement account and dividend account could be extremely beneficial to me. Since I'm only 19, by the time I retire, both of those accounts could be, ginormous, and they could be great, great income sources for me as I retire. So that's my answer for that. My Robinhood portfolio is more of my speculative portfolio where we have a little more fun with it, and that sort of thing. A lot of people are saying good opportunity to add Lordstown Motors, and I think I need to read the rest of the short report before I make a decision. But definitely, it's nearing down 20% pre-market now. People are going to be in fear. Might be a good time to get in. And I actually kind of hope that Lordstown Motors actually responds to the short report and just addresses the production hurdles. Well, the short report claimed they had production hurdles that they had not disclosed. I hope Lordstown at least addresses that part. That would make me happy. I want to see, I just thought of this, so sorry for the abrupt change, but I want to see what Tesla's doing pre-market here. Here it is. Okay, down 4% on Tesla, back below 700, but this is still a far cry from when we were in the 500s, right? Adam Butterworth says, I hope you're not going to bash STPK. No, I mean, I'll give you a hint at that video. I'm not going to bash STPK in any way. But make sure you guys watch that video. It'll be up this evening, maybe early afternoon sometime, somewhere in that time frame. But it is going to take me a little longer to record and edit that video. So just stay tuned for it later today. Raha says, for crypto, which one do you use? I used to own a little bit of Bitcoin in my Robinhood account, but I sold out of that because I think my exposure to like cryptocurrencies is about where I want it, because the size of my CleanSpark investment is so large in my Robinhood account that my exposure to cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin is already pretty high. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out for all of that stuff. And I actually want to see, something here. I want to see if we're going to get a CleanSpark press release this morning. So I'll switch to Chrome so you guys can see this actually. But I'm going to go to the CleanSpark Investor Relations. But yeah, I'm not going to bash STPK at all in the video later today. So just stay tuned for that. Let's see, Zach Matthews says, not to ask another question, but also, do you think Ford will push up? They seem to be struggling. It all depends on how quickly and how well they can adapt to the EV environment, and if they can start producing their own electric vehicles. Because, some of these traditional auto manufacturers are going to survive. They're going to have working electric prototypes and eventually working electric production. It all depends on which ones are quick and efficient at it. If they're quick and efficient at it, they're likely going to survive because there's room in the EV industry beyond NIO, Tesla, Lucid Motors, and companies like that. But I want to go to the investor relations here and just keep an eye out for a possible press release this morning. I know sometimes they like to give us a little Friday morning press release, so this would be nice little bump today if we get a press release. If not, oh well. Roni says GIK got an analyst $17 price target, and this is taking forever to load. I have no idea why, but I'll switch back to the sticks for now. And we'll go to GIK because I did not see that they actually got analyst coverage now. It's down pre-market, so the analyst coverage must not have been like that terrific. let's see. This VN says, what are my thoughts on the rising 10-year Treasury bond yield? I think it's a little overblown. And when I say overblown, I mean the fear about it. When you think of the grand scheme of things, where the 10-year bond is at right now, it's still extremely low in comparison to what history has shown us. I think where we got into trouble with the stock market is when the way it was so volatile, if that makes sense, where it shot up really, really fast. So I think that's what spooked investors more than anything, was just the volatility of it. So slow, creepy movements, no, I don't think, I'm not worried about it. But that volatility definitely scared a lot of investors, to say the least. Let's see. Flippin' Flappin' says, Lordstown recently announced a $14,000 truck deal with E Squared Energy, supposedly representing $735 million in sales. E Squared is based out of a small residential apartment in Texas that doesn't operate a vehicle or a vehicle fleet. Thank you for that, Flippin' Flappin'. Yeah, I'll have to read the short report more on that in a little bit. When I looked into E Squared, I thought they were a pretty legitimate company. But that was a big, big order by E Squared when they made that order. But I know Lordstown has several thousand pre-orders. Billions of dollars of pre-orders. So, if one of them's a fluff, definitely not the greatest thing in the world, but obviously not the worst thing in the world either. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Savvy Money says shorts use the 10-year bond yield as an excuse and investors bit. 100% I agree with you on that. Abraham Muscle says, what types of stocks do I look for? Plus, I'm still a beginner investor. This is my third month investing. Well, you're in the right place, Abraham Muscle, and congratulations on getting started. Obviously, the markets can be very, very volatile in the short term. But if you have the hard work, dedication that other people don't have, you're going to do great. So, just stick with it. Even if the markets suck in the short term like they have, just stick with it. As we've seen, they move up pretty quickly. And it looks like Bitcoin's recovering a little bit, which is good to see. It's good for everybody. Let's see. His question was, what type of stocks do I look for? I view myself as kind of, at least with the portfolio we follow on my YouTube channel, we kind of follow, we make waves where there is no ocean, I guess you could say, where, we find undervalued growth stocks that are usually speculative investments. So I never recommend putting 100% of your money into speculative investments whatsoever, which is part of the reason I own, or I run many other investment portfolios, because this is my speculative portfolio. My other portfolios aren't near as speculative as this one is, but what I would say, that's the type of stocks we look for on my channel, and I've had great success with it. Last year I had 1,000% return on investment, which was insane. This year, I think we're actually about break even this year so far, after the market dip. Let's see. Somebody says GIK moved positive pre-market. We'll bring that up. GIK moved positive pre-market. Look at that. SPAC. This one's been hammered really, really hard. Sandeep says, thanks for doing this. Any thoughts on SFTW with low downside and huge upside with government contracts? I honestly haven't looked into SFTW, but it sounds like you've done your research, right? You know that they have government contracts. You know they have limited downside. So obviously don't let, if you have high conviction in the stock, absolutely stay invested, buy more on the dips, that sort of thing. I don't know enough about the company to give you a good input on it. But I guess I don't have any thoughts to share, but it sounds like you've done your research. It sounds like you have high conviction in it. So, it shouldn't take a YouTuber, it shouldn't take me to, confirm your conviction on it. If you're very, very confident in the company, start investing in it, man. Savvy money, that's a good way to put it. On this channel, we look for stocks that the market hasn't noticed yet. And I guess a great example of that would be like Created. The market really doesn't, they're really not respecting Created. Same with like SFT, SGBX, these types of stocks. The market just has not, respected. They either don't know about these companies yet, or they just don't respect them yet. And, as they bring in these revenues that they're going to bring in, all of a sudden Wall Street's going to wake up and be like, oh wait, we're missing out on this one. And they're going to jump in, and then the stocks are going to go higher. And it's, worked pretty well for me. Like Curiosity Stream's another one. This one's performed really, really well, but little known to the markets, Curiosity Stream. Alex says, am I bullish on SGBX earnings? 100%. Yeah, I think SGBX earnings are going to slap investors in the face. Like, they're going to beat revenues like nobody's ever seen before. And that's just my personal opinion. But, I think they're going to, I think SGBX is going to have a great earnings report, especially because we know for a fact the market is not pricing in, the revenue growth that they're projecting. So I think the revenue numbers are going to be great. I think the earnings numbers might even beat as well, because what people don't realize with SGBX, when they acquired Echo, which is now called SG Echo, they moved basically a cost center into a revenue center, where they used to pay Echo, right, for the hardware, design, whatever it was, but all of a sudden they get rid of a lot of cost of goods sold on the income statement, because that's where a lot of that line item came from, was from Echo. But now SGBX owns Echo, so I think when it comes to earnings, they could beat as well. So keep an eye on it. Let's see, Library Pranks says SFTW is like Palantir for space. That's an interesting way to put it. Definitely. I want to switch back and see if we have gotten... I want to see if we've gotten a press release from CleanSpark this morning. Sometimes they like to release a press release Friday morning. Doesn't look like we have yet, so I'll switch back to the sticks because the markets are opening here in about 15 seconds. So see what everything does. We're still pretty red across the board. Lordstown Motors is down over 20% pre-market. Look at that. Heavily shorted. I think I need to read the short report, but I think this might be a really good opportunity to get into Lordstown Motors. Charge point's down 13%. Well, what's Blink Charging doing? ChargePoint was up very big in comparison to Blink Charging yesterday. But let's look at all these stocks as they open here. The NASDAQ opened down 1.33%. There's your gap down. And this is to be expected. Again, don't let this scare you or worry you. After the great week we've had, the great recovery we've had, this is very, very healthy movement to have a little bit of a pullback. Let's cool off. Let's go back to that short-term moving average and then bounce back up, right? We need this to happen. Look at Carnival Cruise Lines. It's green. Look at that green candle. Wow, wow, wow. I want to zoom in on this. So I wonder if the recovery names are performing pretty well. Look at CCIV. Even CCIV is down 5%. Let's see what Tesla's doing. That was down about 5% pre-market. Now they're only down 3.6%. So we had buyers step in pretty directly here on the market open with Tesla. We'll see what happens though with that one. Let's go to the stocks I own. CleanSpark is down 7% now. Look at that. Workhorse is down 8%. Ride is maybe having some buyers step in here after that short report came out. CCIV, like I already mentioned, down 5%. GameStop doing GameStop things, up 5-6% today. Curiosity Stream down 4%. Bitcoin is on the rise, so this will be really, really good for CleanSpark, Riot Blockchain, Marathon, Patent Group, SOS, all those Bitcoin mining companies. This will be really, really good for them. SGBX is down 6%. So when you start getting in this territory of stocks, growth stocks, speculative stocks being down 6+%, especially when they're already undervalued like SGBX, this would be a really good time. If you've been wanting to get into SGBX, this would be a really good time to get into it. Obviously, I think this is a very, very good pullback for us today. Let's reset a little bit after such a green market the last few days, so I'm not worried whatsoever, but 6% plus, you're starting to get into the territory of, okay, maybe I should add to my position here. And obviously the stocks I own, like when the markets are up, they're going to go up 10 times as fast and 10 times as more as the rest of the market does. But when the markets are down, they're going to go down 10 times as fast and 10 times more than the rest of the market. So it's kind of a two-edged sword, I guess you could say. So you kind of have to have a stomach for it. GameStop up 8% now. Look at that strength. But let's see if we're seeing any recovery here in the NASDAQ. Again, we're only in the third minute of trading here. So we sold off the first 2 minutes. Looks like we might have hit some support here. Some buyers stepping in. We'll see, though, what happens with it. Lordstown down 20%. So this one's going to have a rough day. I think that's just the way it's going to be. But it's also a great opportunity to add this stock to your portfolio. I think if you've been wanting to get in and the short report doesn't bring any new information to the company that scares you or changes your view of the company fundamentally. Tesla, we got some buyers coming in here, and it's probably matching, pretty much exactly matching what the NASDAQ's doing. The reason I say Tesla and the NASDAQ are so connected is because whenever Tesla does well, the NASDAQ's going to do. Whenever the Tesla does bad, the NASDAQ's going to do bad. But, the step before that is Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin does well, Tesla's going to do well because Bitcoin's a part of their balance sheet, and if Bitcoin goes up, the value of the company is going to go up because their assets are increasing in value. So this helps Tesla do well. Bitcoin's recovering, going up. And if Tesla does well, it's going to help the overall NASDAQ, which helps the overall market sentiment. I just got an alert from Robinhood that Palantir is down 5.5%. Let's see where that's up. Down only 4% now, so we're really getting some buyers stepping in here. After the first 3-4 minutes of trading, we're seeing buyers step in here across the board. Let's see if Tesla's any different since we last looked. Yeah, we're still seeing buyers come in for Tesla here. So, we started off down, but we're slowly seeing the buyers step back in here. Some strength here. Zach Matthews says, yeah, I'm one of the buyers. This is a good opportunity. I think it's a great opportunity, especially if you're, even look at ChargePoint. Down 13, 14% today. When you get to those levels and you believe in the company, and you've wanted to get in or add to your position, it's these days, down 13, 14% where you want to add to your position, right? You didn't want to add to your position yesterday when everything was so entirely green. You want to add on these red down days. Kind of have to retrain your brain, as I like to say. It goes against your intuition to want to add to stocks when you're experiencing pain and the value of your holding is going down. But trust me, you'll end up a lot better in the long term if you do that. CleanSpark down about 5%, but we've seen some strength from CleanSpark here as well. Workhorse, pretty strong out of Workhorse, and Lordstown Motors is even seeing buyers step in here. CCIV down 5%, GameStop up 7%. A little bit of a sell-off here. We'll see what happens with GameStop, though. This one's volatile, more volatile than Bitcoin, it seems like, which is saying something. What's the other ones? SFT is actually green today. Look at this very, very strong move from SFT. Created down 3%, very, very thinly traded, not worried about it. And GIK was up at 12.20. But we faded a little bit. So mixed across the board, really, when we're looking at these stocks. Very, very mixed. A lot of them are seeing some strength, some buyers step in. Like if we go to the NASDAQ, it was looking like we were going to have some buyers step in here. But now all of a sudden we're getting some more selling pressure here. Which I don't know if that means Tesla's doing the same thing. It looks like it is, yeah. So NASDAQ, Tesla following each other pretty hand in hand here, to be expected. Marathon down 8% today. That's a pure play Bitcoin mining company. Same with Riot Blockchain, down about 7%. Let's see. Sven asks, "We will ride on SGBX Wednesday, don't you think?" Yeah, I think the earnings report for SGBX next Wednesday is going to be very, very good for the stock. And people are saying SFT is making a nice move, and it definitely did. Now we're seeing some sellers come through as soon as I switch over. Easy Does It says he bought some Ride Lordstown Motors. Yeah, I think this is a really, really good opportunity and chance to get into Lordstown if you've been wanting to. And nothing fundamentally has changed with the company. And the short report didn't change that. If those are your thoughts, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. Philip says he bought 10,000 shares of SGBX. Nice job with that one. I think you're going to do very well on your SGBX position. It's just going to take some patience in order for you to see your return on a lot of these stocks. Because again, like Savvy Money said, the stocks I focus on my channel are disrespected, thrown around, beaten around, or even just unknown names in the stock market, right, that have a lot of potential, a lot of growth in front of them. Anthony Thomas says CleanSpark with another analyst buy rating yesterday. Yep, we got another analyst. BTIG put a $45 price target on CleanSpark. It looks like CleanSpark might be hitting sellers as well. But what is encouraging about a lot of these new moves, and I'm drawing this on CleanSpark, but this is for a lot of stocks out there. We're seeing this sort of movement here. I talk about this in almost every live stream, but I think there is something to it. If you can see this sort of higher high, higher low movement, it's good. It's a good thing. Even though we're down 6-7% on the day, this is bullish today. What we're seeing across the board, we're seeing a pullback. We're resetting a little bit after this euphoria we've had. So I think this is really, really good what we're seeing right now. Obviously, I could be wrong, could be way off, but I think this is really good what we're seeing. Bitcoin fading a little bit back down now. But again, even if you draw this on Bitcoin, this looks like a really, really good opportunity to see this as well, though. You see this kind of higher high action right here before we sold off. And now, depending on where this reverses back up, it might come back down 55.7, 55.8, somewhere in here. But it's going to set a higher low probably, which is a bullish channel, and that's what you want to see across the board with a lot of these stocks, right? As long as we don't break through and set a new lower low, right? That's what we want to look for. The NASDAQ, see, this is the opposite right here. The NASDAQ, very, very minimal movement here, more consolidation than anything, but we technically are kind of in a downtrend on the NASDAQ right now. And I wouldn't read too much into this. Again, I think this is healthy movement for the markets as a whole. Palantir's down 5% today. And Kathy Wood is going to be buying more of this today probably, right? So a lot of red across the board. Does it worry me? No, not one bit. Do I think it's a good buying opportunity for a lot of the stocks? Yeah, I do. Like the stocks that are down 5% today, really, really good buying opportunity if you've been wanting to add your position or get back into it. Blink Charging down 8%. These types of stocks, you're getting really, really good opportunities. STPK down 9-10%. ChargePoint down 14%. Tesla down 4%. There's just a lot of stocks. And again, these are generally the growth stocks, the speculative stocks, but they retreat much more than the overall market does. But in the long run, they also go up a lot more than the overall market does. So you're kind of taking I don't know what the word is, but it takes a gut to own stocks like this, but in the long run, if you're in the right companies, you will do very, very well. Let's go to CCL here. Yeah, look at this recovery name. CCL, very, very strong. I don't think we have gotten any news on CCL. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've gotten any new news on CCL, but this is a recovery name. Let's go to United Airlines and see what this is doing. Yeah, so you're seeing the reopening names in general here are actually pretty green in comparison to the rest of the market. And this could be due to, the Biden headlines where he wants every adult to be vaccinated or at least have the capability of being vaccinated by the end of May. People are thinking, we're reopening faster than we originally thought, so let's start buying these stocks back up. They're going to make more money quicker than we originally thought, that sort of thing. So the reopening names are green. Look at GIK's green today. Look at that. That's nice to see for GIK. But in general, GameStop's green too. Look at that. But in general, the reopening names seem like they're green today in comparison to the rest of the market. AMC just turned green. Very, very strong movement from AMC. Riot Blockchain down 6.5%, seeing some strength. Same with Marathon. Very, very similar movements. It probably means we're getting an up move in Bitcoin, and I'll go look at that right now. Where's that at? Where's that? Right here. A little bit. We might be seeing some buyers step into Bitcoin. But, yeah. So, let's see. This VN says Blink is overvalued. It very well could be, but it definitely has come off its valuation that it had set, however many months ago when at its all-time high. When I sold out of ChargePoint at $40 per share because I shared the same thoughts you shared, right? That ChargePoint at this valuation, that's might be a little overvalued. There's many, many years of growth that's being priced into the market cap right now. I'm going to sell out and take my profits. And I'm glad I did. It's one I do kind of want to get back into, the EV chargers, if they drop more in value. But the bottom line is, in the growth and speculative industry, you're going to see stocks be overvalued depending on what metric you look at. It's just the way it is. But what really matters with the valuations is that the company sees the growth that's anticipating or guiding for. That's what really matters in the long run. Okay, let's see. Abraham also says, I hope Bitcoin goes down so I can buy some. Yeah, I hope Bitcoin does not go down. Sorry, Abraham. No, I'm just kidding. But But I know a lot of people are, and this is part of the reason, right? This is part of the reason that I don't think there's any chance Bitcoin is going to zero. I should say that. I don't think there's any chance Bitcoin's ever going back down to zero. And I could be wrong. This is just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, right? But you have guys, and not to single out Abraham Mussel, but we have guys like Abraham Mussel, even Elon Musk at Tesla. We have people that have been in Bitcoin since its inception, that no matter what would happen, we have people buying Bitcoin. Whether it's a good currency or not, we have people buying it, right? Which is giving it legitimacy. And as Tesla starts converting cash to Bitcoin, all of a sudden you're going to see other S&P 500 companies follow in their footsteps, because investors are going to ask those companies, okay, Tesla is making a lot of money on this Bitcoin. Why have we not converted some of our cash to Bitcoin? It's going to put a lot of pressure on CEOs and C-level executives to take that step of buying Bitcoin, which is just going to continue to send the price higher and higher, in my opinion. Stock Jockey says CRTD. Yeah, CRTD is green now. Red to green, up 2%. Very, very light volume as always on CRTD. But again, this is a stock that is not well known whatsoever. And we're waiting for Wall Street to really begin to respect Created. But everybody that's looked into it, especially in my private group, has really, really liked Created and believes in it. They all have patience, and that's what's key with these stocks, is that you have patience. Bitcoin broke above 56,000 again. CleanSpark, pretty strong move here. And again, this is what I was talking about. I drew this on the stream earlier if you guys weren't here. But this kind of higher high, higher low movement here, where you're seeing this. We set a higher low. This was key. And now we're setting a higher high right here. That's the type of movement you want in stocks. And as you see, CleanSpark looks like it's ready to break out here. So very, very exciting. We're even seeing Lordstown Motors has more buying pressure than selling pressure right now. GameStop's coming back a little bit. The markets in general seem like they might be battling back here. And let me go to the QQQ, the NASDAQ, to look at this and see if the NASDAQ's pretty strong now. After setting, it looks like the low of the day was 312. We're kind of battling back here. Buying pressure across the board now. And even Tesla, look at Tesla. Tesla's coming back pretty strong. So we opened up red, but we're seeing a lot of this green. We're seeing buyers step in on this dip, and that's also pretty healthy movement, right? That means we have bullish fever, where we do believe these valuations are still pretty cheap, especially when we get a dip like this. I'm going to buy the dip, right? I have cash. I'm going to buy the dip. That being said, the NASDAQ still is down 1.4%, which is quite a bit for a market index or an exchange like the NASDAQ. But we are seeing strength, it looks like, across the board. Even ChargePoint, Tesla, right? All of these stocks. Lordstown Motors, big short report came out about them. Seeing bulls push this higher. Buyers stepping in at these cheaper valuations here. But it was very, very good. At least, if we don't retreat back down, which we very well may could. Very well may could. I don't know if that made sense. But, it's good to see buyers stepping in, is my point. And it was very, very healthy movement to see that, even if we don't drop back down, to see that drop down in valuations. Let's reset where we were at. We overextended a little bit yesterday. Let's reset where we're at, right, before we start moving higher again. CCIV, very, very strong. Same case. So I don't need to keep saying this, but pretty much in every stock we've looked at, we opened down, consolidated a little bit, and now we're seeing bulls start to take over. Looks like the bears might be getting tired. Sellers might be getting tired, worn out. GIK up 5%. Look at that. I love seeing GIK up 5%. NASDAQ, a little bit of a red candle here, though. Not too worried about it. But let's hope we continue to see this sort of strength. Obviously, if we pull back again, I'm not worried about it whatsoever. But it is good to see some buyers stepping in here. Okay, back to the chat. TV says, hi Rex, what are my thoughts on Lion Electric? I have not done research yet on Lion Electric. I think I wrote this down. Yeah, I wrote it down yesterday to do research on Lion Electric. I just never got to it, but it is on my list of companies to research, so I can't give my thoughts or opinions on it yet. But in the future, ask me again in a couple weeks, and I'll be able to give you my thoughts on Lion Electric. Let's see. Stock Jockey says, K. Kim's video playing out so far. Gap was defended and support held. Yeah. If you guys aren't familiar with K. Kim, just type into your YouTube search box K. Kim. It really, really is helpful when looking at the overall market movement. He analyzes the chart where the support levels are, the gaps, the that sort of thing. And he's been very, very on point. I've been very impressed with K Kim, and he's kind of been my evening go-to, right? I watch his videos every day now. Very, very helpful. Obviously, nobody's perfect. K Kim's not perfect. I'm not perfect. Jeremy from Financial Education isn't perfect. Warren Buffett isn't perfect, but K Kim is very, very good. He helps me understand the overall market in a better light. So shout out to K Kim. Let's see. Chad says, how long will you hold ZOM? I actually don't own Zomedica right now, but I know a lot of people have bought into this one. JJ Buckner, another YouTuber, I think he owns ZOM, but I personally do not. Multi-Guitarist asks, will I do a video on dividend stocks? I've thought about doing it. I just don't know if that's something my audience would like, because I built my channel so much on this growth stock industry. Throwing a dividend video at them, more boring. I don't know if they'd like that as much, but let me know if you guys would like to see a dividend video. Damian Hamilton says, go SGBX. Am I missing a move on SGBX? Not really. We're seeing a little bit of buyers step in here. Good amount. Bitcoin falling a little bit back down, though, which isn't going to help CleanSpark or Riot or Marathon, but despite it, CleanSpark is still moving in a very, very good direction right now for us. NASDAQ is still battling back. Look at that. Look at that. And maybe we're setting this uptrend here where we have the low, the higher low right here, and then hopefully this sets another higher high, but this is very, very micro term. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, Damien says, don't sleep on SGBX. I keep telling people, Damien, I'm right in the same boat with you. People are sleeping on SGBX, particularly Wall Street is sleeping on SGBX, but that one's going to do really, really well in the long term, if you have patience, in my opinion. Okay, do I think TTCF could drop to 1995 today? I want to build my position out, but I'm not sure if they will drop that far today, Drew Miller asks. So we can bring up TTCF for sure. Tattooed Chef, do I think it will drop? It's impossible to know. That's the answer I'll give you, Drew. And usually, I see we dropped to $20.01. So we have pretty good support at $20 right on the dot. What I will say, Drew, is for as long as I've been in the market, now I'm 19 years old, but I have been in the markets for 4 or 5 years now. I used to have a custodial account that I ran for myself, that my dad opened up for me. But ever since I've been in the market, whenever you start worrying about pennies or dimes, you should not worry about it, right? If you believe in the company, if you believe in the long term, the bottom line is at $20.50, you're not going to be upset that you bought shares when it comes 5 years from now, if you truly believe in what the company is and what they do. So I would not worry about the extra 50, 60 cents that you're wanting to get per share, right? In the long run, that's not going to matter. And if you buy in it right now, right? I mean, at least you're going to be in if it doesn't drop that far. If it doesn't drop that far and you don't buy in, you're just going to miss out. So something you could do, something that I've done in the past, is deploy. So however much cash you're wanting to deploy into this stock, deploy 50% of it right now at $20.50. That way you're at least bought into the stock. Now if it drops to that $19.95 like you want it to, then you can deploy the rest of your cash, that remaining 50%, and dollar cost average down. But that way you're at least bought into the stock. And again, never worry about pennies or dimes or even sometimes dollars, for that matter of fact, with stocks you believe in, right? If you're saying you want it at $19.95. Chances are, if it's a good deal at $19.95, it's probably a good deal at $20.56. This is my take, though. Again, could be way off. This is what I would do if I were in your position, though. See, a lot of people will say they would enjoy a dividends video, so maybe I'll do that in the future. A little bit surprised on that. PLTR was down 5%. Stock Jockey saying, pretty strong from Palantir right now, really. And we're seeing this across the board, very, very strong. NASDAQ, look at the NASDAQ. Really, really strong from the NASDAQ still, too. We're working on our 5th green candle right in a row here. GIK, oh my gosh, this is great to see with GIK. Finally moving up 7% now, 6.5%, 7%. What's Tesla doing? Tesla's still battling back up into the green. Well, not quite the green yet, but we're going in the right direction. Let's look at my portfolio. CleanSpark's above 30 again. GameStop up 6%. SGBX very thinly traded. SFT is green. Look at that move from SFT. Very, very good there. Created up 3%. Oh man, this one. I love buying Created in the 4s. I've been buying Created in the 4s like there's no tomorrow. And we already covered GIK. But, so pretty good across the board. The stocks that were down pretty big, like CleanSpark was down 8% at the open, I think. And we're already back above 30. So we've already gained 6% back. 6% plus. So, we reset from those overextended levels, like I said, we set yesterday, which is really good to see, but we're seeing that the support is holding. And that's also very good. Savvy Money says, Rex, I created a dividend ETF that pays 8%. Is that on, that must be on M1 Finance or something? That's cool, though. Yeah, that's a cool idea. Let's see. Canoe. Somebody says Canoe. I think this is their ticker, isn't it? Canoe's up 7%. The only reason I'm not invested in Canoe is because, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I do not like the designs of their vehicles. I honestly cannot see anybody ever driving that thing, ever. Especially their new EV prototype truck. Not my personal taste. I can't see it being widely adopted. Now, I could be way off, could be way wrong, but I'd rather put my money into something that I could actually enjoy driving myself. I never really invest in something that I couldn't see myself using. If they make a product or do a service, if I wouldn't use that service or use the product, chances are I won't invest in the company. But yeah, I know a lot of people are bullish on Canoe. Just not for me, not my flavor. And it looks like I am on the correct ticker, so that's a good deal. Let's see. Neo says, somebody says Neo's about to pass 45, and that is, yeah, Neo's very strong today as well after a down open. But this is way better than we were. I think we were in the 30s, weren't we? Yeah, 34, 35. So, we're already $10 higher than we were at the lows. And I'm going to switch back to the one-day view here. Come on. Let me zoom in. There we go. So very, very similar movement here across the board. Tesla's moving very similar to Neo. The Nasdaq's moving very similar to Tesla. So even let's look at Blink Charging. Yeah, Blink Charging's even pretty strong here. We have buyers step in. Good to see. STPK down 6%. Again, if you guys weren't here earlier, I'll be putting out a video later today. CleanSpark versus STPK. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. It'll be out either late afternoon or early evening tonight. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Let's go back to this. CleanSpark's still pretty strong here. Workhorse coming back. Even Workhorse, Lordstown fading back down a little bit. Look at CCIV. Holy cow, CCIV really bullish on this move. And CleanSpark is recovering while Bitcoin is still struggling a little bit. So that's really good to see. SFT still making a very strong move as well. I don't need to zoom in that much. There we go. Created similar case. GIK up 6%. Perfect. Beautiful. And CleanSpark's down less than 1% now. That's crazy thinking about we were down 8% not too long ago. Robert Glenn says, will the IPO of Coinbase be a good investment? Honestly, I've not looked into Coinbase enough to know. I know that on IPO day, Coinbase is going to rock it. And I think it's probably going to be similar to what we saw with Snowflake, where it's hyped up, and then about 3 months down the line, you're going to be able to get a better deal than you would have on IPO day. Like Snowflake, this wasn't IPO day, was it? But they hit 429, and now we're down to 234. I think it could be very, very similar to that with Coinbase, where there's going to be a lot of hype going into the IPO. A lot of people are just going to buy into it for the heck of it, right? They don't care about the valuation. I know on IPO day, it's probably going to go up from where I buy it, so I'll just buy in. Who cares about the valuation? But then all of a sudden, as funds realize, oh, this is getting pretty overvalued right now, they're going to start selling out, and then all of a sudden we get some profit taking going on, that sort of thing. Jacob Foster asks, am I invested in STPK? No, I am not, and I'll give my thoughts on that later today in that video like I mentioned. Let's see. Yeah, Stock Jockey says CleanSpark wants green. It definitely does. CleanSpark's still on that up move here. If I can zoom in on it. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Very strong from CleanSpark, but really it's been strong across the board. I want to switch back to the day chart here. Only down 0.5% on CleanSpark now. Very, very awesome. SGBX is now, yeah, look at that. SGBX is green. So we're seeing a lot of red to green moves today across the board. When I was scrolling through this, and a lot of you guys that were here earlier know this, but when I was scrolling through this pre-market and at market open, there was a lot of red, and there's still a lot of red on the board here. But we're slowly seeing some of these tickers flip to the green. Even NEO battling back here, right? Palantir was down 5%. Now we're only down 2% on Palantir. Blink Charging was down 6%, 7%. Now we're only down 4.5%. So we're seeing bulls, buyers step in at these cheaper valuations after we reset from yesterday's overextendedness. CCL's having a really good day. AMC Theaters, look at AMC, up 8% right now on AMC. That is beautiful to see. Let's look at what the NASDAQ's doing here. There it is. NASDAQ continuing to, looks like it wants to go higher today. Will we get back to positive territory? Who knows? If it keeps moving like this, probably. But who knows? What are my thoughts on Lordstown Motors? Yeah, I've covered them quite a bit in this stream already, but I'll just say I need to look into the short report a little bit more. The only concern that I have with Lordstown Motors that I hope they address in relation to the short report and what I've read so far in it is the undisclosed production, delayed. The production's been delayed and they haven't announced it yet, basically, is what happened. Is what the claim was. So I hope they at least respond to that part a little bit, because that would be good to know. NGA Lion Electric, pretty green move here as well, down only 1.5% now, and the low was right at $17. Palantir continuing to come back. Let's go back to Tesla. We haven't looked at Tesla in just a little bit. Tesla's still battling back as well, so pretty strong movement across the board. Somebody asked what are my thoughts on Worksport OTC. Solar covers for electric trucks. Yeah, I've actually seen this back in the day when Workhorse was still cool to be invested in. But I did see this. It's a cool concept. I don't know how much it'll be widely adopted, though. That's something you have to look for. Is this really going to catch on? That sort of thing. Yeah, no problem, Colm. I'm always here to go through anything you guys want me to look at. But yeah, I've sort of shared my thoughts on the short report so far, but I'll look into it some more next week for our pre-market live stream on Monday. I'll have some more opinions on it after I read through the short report. I just need to find some time to do so. Let's go back to our stocks here. So falling a little bit on CleanSpark. Same with all of these, but again, I'm not concerned whatsoever. We have GameStop up almost 7.5%. SGBX is green. SFT. So really, really strong movement, regardless of the fact we're red on a lot of stocks. So I'm very bullish going to the rest of the day here. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing. I haven't looked at Bitcoin in a little bit here. Bitcoin's back above 56. So obviously if Bitcoin does well, the Nasdaq's going to do well. If the Nasdaq does well, a lot of the stocks we own are going to do well. So I think I'm going to end the stream here, guys. Thank you guys all for coming out. I'll see you next week for the pre-market live stream on Monday, but I'll have a video out coming later today on CleanSpark versus STPK. So turn on your notifications for that video because it's going to be a good video. Very, very informational. But thank you all for coming out. It means a lot to me that you guys come out every morning to support me and watch the stream. But yeah, with that, guys, hope you have a great rest of your day. We're looking pretty good on the charts. Across the board, Bitcoin, the stocks we own, everything's looking up right now. And hopefully that continues that way.